Alright, so I just wanted to make a quick video for anyone who is thinking about trading their car in and removing the OEM Subaru hitch like I was. I wanted to take it off and put it on the new vehicle when we got it. I installed the hitch myself, figured it wouldn't be a big deal to take it back off. So I did get it off, but I just wanted to show a couple things that I think anybody who's going to try this as well is going to be happy to know about ahead of time before they get into this, so they don't have to fight it like I did. First thing is, first problem I ran into was getting these things off, these splash guards off. You have to take these off to get the bumper off because there's a plastic body clip that goes in here, which is covered by this. So in order to get this off, there's a couple of bolts right here and here, and those are held in by these plastic captured nuts, if you want to call them that, like a plastic body clip. They go in like that, kind of. They wrapped around before, but actually no, I got it backwards. Sorry. It doesn't matter. The point is these things held these in through a metal bolt like this that goes through the whole thing. It's basically a plastic captured nut with a metal bolt. You can see I had to cut the top of the bolt off. I had to do that for 3 of these 4 bolts because they get a little bit of corrosion in that bolt, in the plastic, and it just completely seizes them up. You can see melted plastic around the edge of that because I spun this thing around a million times. All it did was squeak, made a squeak sound, but never backed out. I even tried putting a body panel puller or a flat screwdriver underneath the head of the bolt while I turned on it. It would not come out. I tried to just yank it out. It would not come out. It was going to break this plastic. You can see the wedging I did on there. It was going to break that plastic piece completely out before it pulled that bolt out of the plastic captured nut. So you're going to have to cut those heads off if you live in an area where there's any sort of salt or anything on the roads. The next thing I would say is when you're installing your bumper, they tell you to put these bolts back in. There's 3 bolts and a nut on here. The nut is fine, but I would advise against putting the bolts back in. Or if you are going to put the bolts back in, apply some kind of powerful rust corrosion preventative, because as you can see, these are just hanging out underneath here. Let me get the light where you can see it. These are just hanging underneath here, and as you can see, they got a little rusty. I had a little bit of a tough time getting those out, and this car's only a few years old. Hasn't really spent that much time in the salt, and you can see those bolts were starting to get really, come on camera, focus on that, will you? They were starting to get really corroded already. And I undercoated this, so these did get hit with a coat, at least 1 coat, possibly 2 coats of fluid film. And they still corroded this badly and gave me a little trouble coming out. So again, we live in the Rust Belt. May not be a problem for other areas, but there's really no advantage to putting them in. They don't do anything. So my advice would be to take them out, put them in a bag somewhere, and put some rust preventative stuff in there. So yeah, I forgot to mention with these, if you are so inclined, you could put some rust preventative coating on the back of these when you have it all apart. That would be a good idea. Spray some kind of oil or fluid film or wool wax or something like that on these to keep these from getting a little corrosion on them. That's one possible solution. The other would be just to replace them with a better way to hold these on. You could use some kind of plastic body panels, or maybe you could get some captured body nuts with made of metal, same design but made of metal. I would advise replacing those or coating them with something when you have this all apart. Other than that, it was a pretty straightforward, easy to do job. No real other surprises other than that. So thanks.